the countless blessings that you have bestowed on us, especially the gift of life. We hope and pray that you send forth your Holy Spirit in each one of us, so that we may continue what you will us to do. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, so good evening, everyone. So for this evening, we are going to discuss a new topic, which is the history of Sagay. So, syempre, before tayo mag-start, let me just share my screen. Okay, so welcome to Lesson 2, still under Module 1, and that is the history and profile of Sagay City and Negros Occidental. So, Lesson 2 will be cut into two parts. For tonight, part 1 lang sa tanong kay very long actually ang history of Sagay. We are really going to start from the Spanish era, no, kay there are different eras that we're going to cover, no, for the history of Sagay. You have the Spanish era, the American period, during the World War II, during the post-war, and then up until the conversion of Sagay as a city. Okay? So, like what I've said on today's topics, we'll present the history and profile of Sagay City and the history and profile of Negros Occidental. On this lesson, you'll be unboxing the wonders of Sagay City and the wonders of Negros Occidental that dub as the sugar capital of the Philippines. So our learning outcome for today's lesson is that you'll be able to trace the history of Sagay City and the province of Negros Occidental. Although no, I am not a true-blooded Sagaynon, but hopefully I will be able to do justice, no, when it comes to explaining the history of Sagay City. So I later, no, I will also be showing you a video clip of the humble beginnings, no, of one of the biggest industries in Sagay City, and that was the lumber company, no. Okay, known man si Sagay City before as main producers of lumber. So, pagkita pa na ko ninyo, no, nga, masking karaan na siya nga video or old na siya ang video, at least will be able to appreciate, no, the history of Sagay. So, Sagay City can be identified in the map of Negros Occidental because of its ice cream cone. So, mani siya, no, this is Sagay. This is part of northern Negros. And again, no, it is shaped like an ice cream cone or a slice of pizza. No, it is bounded in the north by the Asuncion Pass and the Visayas Sea, and the city of Talisay and municipality of Calatrava in the south, cities of Cadiz and Silay in the west, and the city of Escalante and municipality of Toboso in the east. Now, why is it called Sagay? Because it is named after the semi-spherical shape, a semi-spherical shell rather, called sigay, which can be found in the area. So, this sigay shells class, no, ay syempre kay kuan man, ang main source sa una of livelihood sa mga Sagaynons is fishing, and then can be found near the coastlines of Sagay or the Sigay shells. That is why it was named after, no, the city was named after these shells, no. For those who are not familiar of Sigay, I hope kanang naka-play na mo og asungka. I don't know if what they call this. I don't know if you have able to play sungka, no, in the past. So sa una sa mo ginadula na mo na siya ang sungka to pass the time. Wala pa may social media before. And then karon, no, gimo na siya mag aesthetic ang mga sigay shells. Usually like sa Siargao, no, ginahimo siya og kanang sigay necklace. Wherein ang mga sigay shells kay strong siya with um pieces of strings, no, or ginahimo pod siya og like mga placemat, or ang sigay shells ginahimo po na siya og lanterns. No, so there are several sigay shells that can be found in your city. So on the other hand, Negros Occidental is a province in the Western Visayas region of the Philippines. It occupies the northwestern half of Negros Island. Okay, so the other half, Negros Oriental, is part na of Central Visayas. Okay, Region 7. So kita, Region 6 man ta, no? Western Visayas. It occupies the northwestern half of the Negros Island. It is the 7th most populated province in the Philippines, and Negros Occidental is known for its chicken inasal and its boosting sugar industry. So that's why we are dubbed as the sugar bowl of the Philippines, because we are the main producers of sugar. Wait, let me just admit my classmate. Oh, again, like what I've said, we are going to break down our discussion into two. No, we cannot cover man the entire history of Sagay and Negros Occidental in just one class. No, we are just going to start with history of Sagay first, so that next meeting na lang tayo mag-continue with the history of Negros Occidental. Syempre, right after this one, there will always be an activity to synthesize, as well as try to evaluate, no, if you have already gathered something from the discussion nato sa history of Sagay. So I already mentioned this one, that the map of Sagay, no, can easily be identified, no, in the map of Negros Occidental, because of its ice cream cone shape. So din ako na siya uh, balikon, no. So we will start with the history of Sagay from its very beginning, during the Spanish era. So Sagay was originally called Arguelles. So dili na Sagay iyahang name before, no? Diba, given naman nga you were colonized by the Spaniards over 300 years. So the people who occupied, no, the Spanish people who occupied our cities, our municipalities, named our city, you know, named our municipality or our pueblo after several famous Spanish people. Okay? So gitawag siya og Arguelles before it was called Sagay. So it was called Arguelles when Lieutenant Francisco Rodriguez and Basilio Cordova founded it in 1860 in the mouth of the Bulanon River. So later, by the order of the Spanish governor, the town um, was later transferred to Pueblo de Magallanes, or now known as Old Sagay. So in honor of Ferdinand Magellan. Okay. So Sagay has many names, just like Nunescos, no, like what we discussed last time. Na Sun had many names before, no, from Old Sagay Barangay High School to Iskof down to Nunescos and now Sun. The Sagay pod also had many names. First, ang Arguelles. So try to remember this one, no? Arguelles. Then later, by the order of the Spanish governor, it was named into Pueblo de Magallanes. So Pueblo is town in Spanish. Then Magallanes is syempre the last name of Ferdinand Magellan. So karon, or right now, we now know Pueblo de Magallanes as Old Sagay. Later on, we will know ngano gitawag siya as Old Sagay and asa na na-transfer ang center sa syudad. So having the status of a pueblo, Sagay was entitled to have a Capitan del Pueblo. So, ang Capitan del Pueblo was the one who manages the town, no? It's the highest town official during the Spanish era. The first to be appointed by this position by the Spanish governor was Eulalio Rodriguez. Gregorio Pareño, then Pedro Catalbas y Villanueva later succeeded him. So, these following names were the appointed Capitan del Pueblo by the Spanish governor. So during the Philippine Revolution, Sagay also contributed, actually, no, contributed to a successful national struggle for independence. So there actually nationwide man ang struggle, no, for independence, because there were a lot of Spaniards who occupied several towns and cities, no, and municipal, actually di pa city tawag sa una, no. There were a lot of Spanish people who occupied pueblos, no, who occupied towns before. And these people, no, mga Spaniards, they actually took advantage of the Filipinos. So, syempre, daghag uprising, no, labi na katong kita nila nga daghanon po di ay ning revolt against the Spaniards. So, si Sagay also contributed to one of the most successful national struggle for independence. Okay? However, ang hard-won na to nga First Philippine Republic was short-lived kay na-transfer na pod ang colonial power from the Spaniards to the Americans during the Treaty of Paris. And what is sad is during the Treaty of Paris, because we thought that we already have gained independence from the Spaniards, pero ang sa tinuod ay is gibaligya rata for a cheaper price sa mga Amerikano. And ang mga Amerikano na nooy ning puli, ning take over to colonize us, no? Why is it kadaghan jud kayo ginahan sa Philippines kay colonized ta? We are basically near the enemies, no, of these countries, no? Duol ta sa enemies ni America, no, nya ginahan man sila mo secure og military base near sa ilaha nga mga enemies, at the same time rich in natural resources so that they can continue, no, with the war. So mo na siya na-transfer ang colonial power to the United States of America in 1898, which leads us to proceed to the American period. And dili siya class, no, later on I will show you a video sa Insular Lumber Company because it was during the American period nga natukod ang biggest hardwood lumber mill in the world. So imagine, it was in Sagay nga natukod ang biggest hardwood lumber mill, no, in the world pa dud siya, no, dili lang within the Philippines pero sa tibuok kalibutan. Okay? So in 1906, during the administration of the second president Benji Adolfo, the name of the town was officially changed to Sagay. So again, during the Spanish era, Arguelles, then later changed to Pueblo de Magallanes. Then when the Americans took over, no, the colonial power from Spain, natawag na siya og Sagay. So the name was taken from the semi-spherical shell called sigay, which can be found in the area. The American influence seeped into every aspect of Sagay's life, politically and culturally. So at this period of Sagay's history, land transportation began to supplant sea travel. So before, no, the mode of transportation sa mga Sagay nons, no, during the time nga they were colonized by the Spaniards, were sea travel. Kasi syempre, they're located near man sa coastline, no, doon man sa dagat, sa open sea. Pero pag abot sa mga Americans, no, they began to build roads, no, so that mag-transfer sila og mga resources. It will be easier to transport it through land. But the seaside community still continued to flourish, masking hinay-hinay nagtukod og roads, no, during the American era. Ang seaside community na araman Japon, nagpabilin na Japon siya. So the first public schools conducted in English were also established during this era. And that is basically true, no, because the Americans actually introduced the public school system. Although the public school system was a plan by the Spaniards before, but it was not realized because gipulihan man dayon sila sa mga Americans because they failed, no, during the revolution of the Filipinos. So muna ang nag-open, no, anang public school system were the Americans. So Mr. Cornelio Pascual Sr. was the first English teacher assigned in Vito, and American missionaries were sent to tutor more Filipino English teachers. Okay? And before, it was actually American soldiers who trained Filipino teachers, no, to teach the students, no, in public schools. During the Spanish era, dili pa kay na siya ing ana, no, kay usually it was the Spaniards who taught the Filipinos, and they were not really open to all Filipinos having this kind of education. Only those who were well off, mga ilustrados, had access to education, and sometimes they were discriminated by the mestizos, kanang mga half Spanish, and even the pure Spanish, no, nga mga students. If you had Rizal na nga subject, no, mention man po na, no, So there were discriminations as well. So sa time na sa Americans, no, they were actually open to letting the Filipinos teach the students, no, or the children, not them. Okay. So meanwhile, sometime in 1907, the Insular Lumber Company, which later on we will show a video, reputed to be the biggest hardwood lumber mill in the world. It was established in what is now called Barangay Fabrica. So today we now call it Barangay Fabrica, but before, no, dira na siya natukod ang biggest hardwood lumber mill in the world. That is the Insular Lumber Company. And it actually had a positive influence, no, over sa history ni Sagay. Although environmental speaking, sa environment, no, naalala siya yung mga bad effects because ang mga dagko nga mahogany trees were almost extinct sa Sagay. Kaya syempre mo na ginagamit sa lumber company. But when it comes to providing jobs and improving the economy of the city or of Sagay, it was actually this lumber company who contributed so much to it. Okay. So through measures to prevent the destruction of Sagay's rich forests were made, reforestation programs failed. Ngayon ma-failed man ang mga reforestation programs. Kay tendency, when you cut a lot of trees and then imo abi siyang kanang ilisan og bag-o na pud nga seedlings, it would take a long time for these seedlings to grow, and dili tanan successful ang pag-grow sa kaning mga seedlings, especially if wala siya natanom sa sakto. So that's why there were a lot of reforestation programs nga nag-fail. Later, the old forest areas were converted into sugarcane fields. That's why makita na nimo class nga kalabanan sa makita nimo sa Sagay or even going to Sagay were kuan na dayon, no, were mga sugarcane fields na, because even though nga mobito na no nga dagko kay mahogany sa Sagay because arable man ang lands ni Negros Occidental because of Mount Canlaon. Okay, that's why very suitable jud nga to ang yuta, no, for agriculture. Okay, so since mo na ning fail ang reforestation, unya almost extinct na ang mga big mahogany trees in Sagay, kinahurot na siya og kanang kanang patumba sa lumber company, ginagamit sa lumber company. So mao na siya class nga ang natabo is gi-convert na lang ang katong mga barren lands. Usually, di mo matawag barren jud, pero katong mga lands into sugarcane fields and corn fields. So nibalin sila Japan into agriculture. From lumber, ang ilaha na nga industry nag-transfer na into agriculture. So with the exhaustion of the forest resources of Sagay, so may gitag exhaustion gani class, no, kanang murag wala na kanang nahurot na ang trees, no, nga dagko nga trees. Ito makita niyo sa kadagko ang trees, no, like mas dako pa sa mga regular trees makita nato. So ang ILCO or the Insular Lumber Company of Philippines was phased out, no. So na phase out ang ILCO, Insular Lumber Company sa Sagay in 1975, then na-transfer na siya sa Hinubaan. Okay? Before, ang sentro dyan sa lumber industry is ang Sagay, pero karon since more naman sa agriculture si Sagay na, and then sa aquaculture, so na-transfer na siya to Hinubaan. Before ta mo proceed sa mga sugar corporations, kay mo man na siya ning puli, no, mo man na siya ning replace sa lumber company, we are going to watch a video, and I will pause this video para wala tay copyright infringement nga matabo or copyright strike lang. Stop share sa ko for a while. Okay, so let me just share my screen again. Then I'll show you a video on the Insular Lumber Company. This is a lengthy video, but I do hope nga you will finish watching it, no, as Sagaynons or students who are not really Sagaynons but are studying in Sagay. You will appreciate, no, how Insular Lumber Company contributed to a lot of jobs, no generation of jobs, improvement of the economy, and mao na ang rason nga no daghag mga families in Sagay that were able to put food in their table, were able to send their kids to school. Okay? Although, when we sa environment lang, and we talk about environment, medyo dako-dako din siya og negative effect lang on that part. So, I will stop recording up to this point para dili ta ma-copyright ko ano, copyright strike. Okay. Wait lang. Okay, so that was ay sorry. Okay, so that was the not exactly Desert Sagay no, but at least Ilco no. Ilco in the past no. Syempre nag-start siya sa um 1907 no, dugay na jud kay to katong video karaan na jud kaayo pud to siya class no. And then what did you feel no sa katong mga medyo strong internet connection, what did you feel by watching the video knowing nga wala pa mo gipanganak na siguro yung mga parents wala pa gipanganak na nga time, diba? Pero inyuhang mga lolo and lola probably existed na ana nga time no, pero what did you feel no watching the video? Although it's quite long no, pero makita nimo ang process sa how the lumber or the mahogany trees were made into lumber and then export siya, not just gi-transfer siya sa Manila but gi-export siya outside of the Philippines. So anyone? See mga thoughts lang from the video, although 13 minutes long man dito siya. You can unmute your microphone or you can raise your hand. Montaño is raising her hand, pero may concern or you would like to share something? Yes, Kinard.
Miss, pakiulit daw yung question, Miss.
Okay, from the video that you have seen just a while ago, no, what did you feel, no, knowing that probably you were not born during that time pa, pero knowing that mo na siyang itsura sa Sagay before, no, especially sa one of the biggest lumber companies in the world, which is found in Sagay City. So what did you feel?
Sige, Miss. Sa akon, Miss, ako lang insight, Miss, maski hindi ko diri yung bata, parang maka-proud kay diri gid sa Sagay or yes, ang Elco diri gid na kuan ang mga kahoy nga like ano tawag sa gin over mga lumber. Then at the same time sad kay ang kuan ba ang do maka-cause man po deforestation. Amo na Miss.
Okay, thank you so much, Kaynard. Who else would like to add, no, insights on nila from the video? Yes, Daniela.
Good evening, Miss. Para sa akon, Miss, na-amaze ko kay nanaw ko na kung ano ang history sang train sa plaza. Naka-help siya gali sa pag
Yes, na naputol to si Daniela. Sige lang, balikan ta si Daniela later on. Who else would like to share? So, di ba nakita niyo sa video, no, nga, how, again, the mahogany trees, mas dako pa gid siya sa buildings, no? Very tall kay siya, although subong di na siya makita na because, mo na siya, no? Na deforestation, and then even though nag-try man si Elco to conduct reforestation para at least mabawi man nila tong mga trees nga gipang putol nila, nag-fail siya. That's why na-transfer to Hinubaan ang Elco. And then katong mga dagko na jud nga we call them giant trees, no, kay dili man jud siya normally like the typical trees that we see karon. It's not the same as it was before nga super kadako, no, and it's possible because of the arable lands of Negros Occidental, rich arable lands nato due to um Mount Canlaon, no? Kaya syempre mo man naka-help og pa-fertile sa land, no? So nakita nato nga not only nga gin-transport siya sa train, no, patubang sa lumber company kay para syempre katong mahogany mahimo siya lumber, and then mo na siyang ginahimo pod as murag material sa balay class, and it is known that the lumber coming from Sagay itself, from the mahogany trees from Sagay itself class, nga gina-export siya to countries like Japan. Later on maabot ta sa World War nga period wherein mabal-an na to dira nga ang katong Ilco, ang lumber gikan sa Ilco gi-export na siya sa Japan, and even the houses na narito sa Japan, sa pagigamit man to ang lumber sa Sagay, no, ga-exist Japan siya up until today. Okay, ang anak ka durable, no, and some of the houses, old houses in Sagay probably were made from the same lumber nga gikan sa Elco. Okay, so kita jud ang major, not kita, huwag ko kita nung sa Sagay nun, but anyway, ang Sagay jud ang major producer, no, ga provide og durable, strong, no, nga mahogany lumber dito sa mga different places in the Philippines as well as abroad. So, tungod mo to sa war nga naabot ang lumber sa Sagay dito sa Japan. Okay? So, daghan pa, no? Actually, naapa na yung mga kon nga magnahimo po og port si Elco before, no? Daghan na kay na siya og nagian si Elco, which is we are also going to learn later on kung maabot ta sa Japanese era, napamanta sa American period. Questions before we will proceed? So, syempre, no, thank you so much sa nag-share silang answers. Um, syempre, you would feel proud, 'di ba? And at the same time, you'll feel amazed because masking wala ta natawa na nga time, siguro tong parents were not yet born during that time, most probably. Mas kay may muntag mga 1920 something, na naman na sa mga traditionalist, no? Nasa to mga lolo na nga time, mga 70 plus to 90 plus na siya ang edad nila karon, no? So, most probably sila siguro ang nakaabot sa ILCO before, no, back when it was still in its former glory. So it's nice to see nga naa pa siya pina-preserve nga mga documentaries or videos about Sagay nga ato ang ma-appreciate until today. At least kita, no, in the present na nga generation, we are still able to appreciate the people who helped build Sagay, because ILCO is just part of the history of Sagay. Although again, no, like nasulti ni Kaynard nga nalun siya bad effects sa environment kay tungod sa deforestation, pero looking on the other side of it, naman siya double-edged sword, good class good, kay ILCO provided a lot of opportunities for the Sagaynons to have jobs and also to improve the economy of Sagay. Mabita na nga tawag og melting pot ang Sagay og mga different cultures, kay tungod there were a lot of di mo matagog migrate kung within raman siya sa Negros. But there were a lot of people who transferred from Iloilo, from Guimaras, from Cebu, from Bohol. They transferred to Sagay knowing that ILCO was doing well, no? Marg ka nang, it's a good kuan, marg nagseek sila greener pasture in Sagay tungod sa ILCO. Okay? They sought jobs dito sa ILCO. And then not only that, no, again, double-edged sword siya, kaya naka-provide siya jobs, naka-improve siya sa economy, na siya bad effects lang sa environment. But ILCO helped provide also several materials pod sa mga balay, sa mga Sagaynons. So basically, it's part of your history na. So not only ang lumber ang gisaligan ni ILCO ni Sagay ha. So naapod sila bigger nga industrial development other than lumber. So one of that is the establishment of the Lopez Sugar Corporation in the 1920s. Let me just expand, okay? During these years, sugar, copra, lumber, and fishing became the important source of income for the inhabitants in Sagay. Muna siya, this led actually to the economic growth of Sagay, and also with the influx of migrants from Iloilo, Guimaras, Cebu, and Bohol. So muna kung gisulti ninyo, no? Yung influx, so daghan ang nag-transfer from Iloilo, Guimaras, Cebu, and Bohol. They transferred to Sagay to seek better opportunities. So subong na, 'di ba? We go to Cebu, we go to Iloilo, we go to Manila to seek better opportunities for us sa work. Pero before, ang major siya kadtuan sa tanan nearby Sagay is syempre ang Iloilo, Guimaras, Cebu, and Bohol. Niagto sila sa Sagay kay during that time, no, flourishing man ang economy niya, they can provide jobs. Ang ilang mga boss actually sa ILCO were Americans, and some also of the employees were American Filipinos. Okay? So this trend made Sagay, no, a melting pot of ethnically different but equally hardworking Cebuanos and Ilonggos. That's why in Sagay, you would see people nga they can speak in Bisaya, they can speak in Ilonggo or Hiligaynon, and then usually those cities and municipalities facing Iloilo can speak in Hiligaynon. Nya kami we are facing man Cebu, no, like Calatrava, I don't know if Toboso and Escalante speaks Bisaya, no? Kami sa San Carlos, we speak in Bisaya, no? So we are facing man Cebu. That's why we speak in Bisaya, no? Pero si Sagay naman siya sa in between, no? Kaya naman siya sa pinaka northern part. And then ang naka add pod nga, no, some of the Sagaynons can speak both Bisaya and Hiligaynon, is that dira po nagmigrate ang uban nga mga Cebuanos and taga Bohol to seek again better jobs, no? With these developments, businesses and industry flourish in Sagay, leading both sectors with big businessmen. So that's why very prominent kayo ang mga names, no? Big businessmen and industrialists like the Lopezes, kinsa pa, no? The Gamboas, the Vasquez, okay? And not only that, no, ang sugar boom also brought old families into the industry, like the Nichols, the Catalbases, the Tupases, no? I don't know how to pronounce Puey, no? Puey ba na pangalan na nila? The Marañons, no? And then nag-branch out ang Marañons, De La Paz, the Ebrados, and the Liboons. So those are the prominent names, no, in Sagay, because these families, no, come from industrialists and businessmen who started sugar companies, copra, lumber, no, in Sagay. Let us now proceed to World War II. Medyo lengthy na ang history ni World War II because a lot of things happened. Okay? Damo ng tabo, no? And then also there na naabot ang Japanese occupation. Okay? So, a lot of bad things happen in Sagay, but we still need to learn, no? Unsay natabo na sa Sagay nga, no, mo ni siya, unsay mga schools nga nahimo siya as murag prisuhan, no? Ang uban kay gihimo siya as murag base, no, sa mga Japanese. Okay, during the Japanese occupation, so, there were two civil governments that existed in Sagay. Siyempre, dili man naingon nga magpapildi lang ang mga Sagaynons, no? They had a separate government that were against the Japanese. So, under the Japanese government of Jose Laurel, so again, duha, there were two civil governments, ha? Ang isa is under the Japanese national government of Jose Laurel, which Vicente Catalbas was the appointed mayor. Dayon, the second government was the resistance government who were against the Japanese. So the resistance government of the province was headed by Alfredo Montelibano Sr. as governor. And then, Tomas Londres was the mayor. So again, duha ang mayor during the Japanese occupation, ha? Vicente Catalbas under the Japanese national government and Tomas Londres, who was the mayor under the resistance government of the province who were against the Japanese. So, knowing nga against man sila sa Japanese, syempre ang seat of power sa resistance government wala sa syudad, wala sa pueblo, kundi naa sa mountain areas. Okay, syempre nagtago dun sila, no, kay torture na, dakpo na sila sa Japanese, i-torture niya sila. Okay? So, diin nga mountain areas na sa Sitio Balibag, Lopez, Haina. Their term, however, abruptly ended when the combined Filipino and American forces liberated the province from the Japanese at the early part of 1945. Okay? So, syempre, as one naman na once na liberated, may liberated na freed, no, ang mga Sagaynons from Japanese occupation. Okay? So, when Sergio Osmeña Sr., who was then, no, the vice president to Manuel L. Quezon, who died during the war, took over the helm of the national government, so si Teodoro Lopez Sr. was appointed mayor of Sagay. Okay? During his term, Teodoro Lopez Sr. concentrated in the rebuilding of the administrative machinery of the local government. So, after no nga, napildi ng mga Japanese, usa na lang ang government na sa Sagay. Okay? Under the leadership of Teodoro Lopez Sr. So, we will talk about what happened during the Japanese occupation. So, several hundreds of thousands of Filipinos and soldiers, no, of the 72nd and 75th Infantry Division of the Philippine Commonwealth Army and the 7th Constabulary Regiment of the Philippines liberated and reoccupied. So, when you talk about reoccupied, gibawi nila from the Japanese. So, when Manila gi-drive off ang mga Japanese troops, no, they drove off the Japanese troops, no, they attacked the Japanese troops nga mulaya sila sa Sagay in 1945. Pero before that, no, let us talk about what happened to several factories, no, that were destroyed during the Japanese occupation. So remember, during the American occupation, di ba nakita man to na to nga there were several factories and industries that were established even if nag-fail si ILCO when the reforestation efforts failed, no? Ang ningsalo kay there were a lot of like sugar companies, copra, na corn, no, agriculture, mo na ilahang other industries pa jud. So with this, no, ning flourish jud ang economy ni Sagay. Pero pag abot sa mga Japanese, these factories who provided jobs sa mga Filipinos in Sagay were destroyed. Okay? And because of this, the economy was in shambles. A Eusebio Lopez Memorial School building in Barangay Paraiso served as an incarceration area for captured Filipino soldiers and American pilots and soldiers. So kani incarceration area is dira sila gipriso, i-torture, no? Kani Memorial School building. It also served as headquarters for the 4th Flight Division of the Japanese Imperial Air Force. Okay? So, during the last days of the war, kaning mga Imperial Air Force kanang di ba gihimo man na nila og kanang headquarters ang Eusebio Lopez Memorial School. So, kaning mga Japanese Imperial Air Force organized kamikaze. Kamikaze, dili ka lang banda nga kamikaze ha. Kamikaze is like a form of suicide. For them, if they die by suicide, especially if it's for a noble cause like dying in the war, mura na kunog murag highest form na nila of serving the country. Okay? So, mo ni ang kaning Imperial Air Force, they were actually trained to die in the war. Okay? So, Barrio 3 Wharf in Fabrica served as the transport point of processed lumber destined to Japan from Insular Lumber Company. So, at this time, ILCO was still operating. So, wala pa siya na-transfer sa Hinobaan ha. So, during the time of the Japanese occupation, ILCO was still operating. And the Japanese actually took advantage of that and transported... Has somebody raised their hand? Yes, Kaynard? Okay, basta natuplog ka lang. So,
Miss,
ay, sorry.
pwede ko ka-ask, Miss, kaya hindi ko kaintindi kung ano ang kopra.
Okay. Sorry. Again, what was that? I wasn't able to get the last part.
Ano na siyang kopra, Miss, kaya hindi makutindi.
Okay. Copra is actually made from dried coconut kernels, no? Which is, dira na naging ko ito ang oil. Okay, so dried sections of the meat of the coconut.
Okay, thank
kernel,
you, Miss. Kaya ginapa ko gakuan kung anong kopra.
Okay. Sige, no worries. Basta ano na siya,
Namangkot na ko din sa akong mga classmates.
Okay. No worries. So, di ba, kuan,
Thank you, Miss.
welcome. So, going back since nag-ask man si Miss Kaynard sa Copra, no? Kaya di ba ang coconut trees, no? Mo man na siya ang nagpuli nga gi-plant, no, sa katong mga areas wherein dira tani ang mga new trees like mahogany, no? Pero syempre siguro wala man nag-successful ang reforestation nila sa mahogany seedlings. Either few lang ang nag-survive and hindi gid masyado kadako compare sa mga giant mahogany. So katong okay ang video nila kanina, no, katong okay ang internet connection. Kung makita ninyo sa video, very tall jud kayo, no, dagko, like super giant trees jud no ang mga mahogany trees before sa Sagay. Pero since pag reforestation nila siguro hindi na the same ang kadakoon sa trees, mo na nag-fail ang ilang reforestation efforts or not all survive the reforestation efforts. That's why ginilisan nila copra, ginilisan nila like mais, no, ginilisan nila sugar canes, no, kay siguro they find it easier na to culture, no, kanimo yung ani nga kind of products. Okay, so let us continue. So during the war, no, sa Barangay 3, di ba, dira man i-transport ang mga processed lumber. Yung take advantage actually na sa mga Japanese class, no. That's why some of the houses nga naa dito sa Japan were made from the lumber sa Sagay. Okay? And then not only that, nga transport point si Barangay 3 Wharf in Fabrica, gihimo siya transport point sa mga processed lumber nga ipadala sa Japan. Gihimo pod siya og docking area of the Japanese supply ship during the war-torn years. Okay? So, ang Iglanggam Bridge, I don't know if it still exists in Sagay. I am not familiar with Sagay, but if the Iglanggam Bridge still exists in Sagay City up until this day, in Barangay Tadlong, it is said nga it served as a dumping site of executed local soldiers, guerrillas, and civilians. So imagine, daghan kaayo gipang dump ng mga dead bodies dira nga bridge. Okay? So not only the Iglanggam Bridge was a dumping site sa mga dead bodies, no, like mga gipang execute, gipang patay nga mga local soldiers, guerrillas, and civilians who were against the Japanese. This is also a site known where gi-confiscate ang mga money, especially silver peso coins encased in concrete blocks that were dumped by the retreating Japanese soldiers. Munang like pasanang natay mga myth or mga myth about like Yamashita's treasure. Kaya ito sa during the Japanese period daw or Japanese occupation, daghan daw kuno gipang tago nga mga riches or coins ang mga Japanese, and during sa Japanese occupation or World War II, ang kato nag-occupy sa Sagay, they actually had a lot of silver peso coins. And di man na nila madala tanan once they escape or fled from the Sagay Nons. Kaya diba sa 1945, if you can remember, Americans as well as Filipinos drove off the Japanese troops, so ilahang gi-attack ang Japanese troops. So katong mga napildi nga mga Japanese, they decided to flee Sagay. So di man nila madala tanan nilang mga like cash, no. So ang ilang plano is sila ang i-encase sa concrete blocks, so ilang ginasemento ang kaning mga peso coins and ilang ginadump, hoping that walay makapahimulos nila sa kaning mga coins. At the same time, if they were to return to that place dira sa bridge, makuha pa nila or ma-retrieve pa nila tong coins nga ilang gidump, no, sa mga nag-retreat nga Japanese soldiers. So again, daghan kaayo og, no, it is said nga ang Iglanggam Bridge, I don't know if it's haunted, pero daghan dira nga gipang dump ng mga pateng lawas and coins and nga gipang dump sa Japanese. Next, we have the Balibag Hill. So Lopez Haina was the place where the set of the resistance government. But if you can remember, there were two governments that existed in Sagay. No, you have the Japanese government, which they have a different mayor, and the resistance government who were against the Japanese. Okay, so it was in Balibag Hill, Lopez Haina, nga ang seat of resistance government of Free Sagay under Mayor Thomas Londres, who was appointed by Island Governor Alfredo Montelibano Sr. That is where the resistance government was established. It was also known as Tabuan or Marketplace during the war, and in 1944, a group of Japanese soldiers killed about 27 home guards or Toltog guerrillas. Okay? That's why nga during that time, no, medyo na-weakened ang resistance government because there were a lot of Filipinos or Toltog guerrillas nga who seek refuge, no, sa mountains nga ginpatay sa mga Japanese. After the mass killing, the Japanese soldiers set the whole area on fire. Okay? Kaya syempre naguray nakasugid, no, nga naguray spy nga nakasulti nga the resistance government established, no, in Balibag Hill who were against the Japanese. Okay? So ginsunog na sa mga Japanese ang Tabuan or Marketplace dira sa Balibag Hill, and there were a lot of dead people, no, nasunog syempre kay katong 27 nga gipang pusil, and then napod siguro na among po or naapil nga mga civilians. the Japanese puppet government under Vicente Lacson Catalbas. So, patadira, no? Japanese government under Vicente Lacson Catalbas was established at the Big House, Central Lopez, Paraiso. Okay. So, later on, no, there's also an established training site of USAFFE, or United States Army Forces in the Far East, under the supervision of Lieutenant Dominador Gerland, which was established in Tangnonon, Barangay Fabrica, at the ancestral home of Lopez Cabayao. So, on January 26, 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt of the United States of America ordered a national mobilization in the Philippines, and on August 23, 1942, the first group of reservists in Negros were established not to be on duty by the virtue of the Philippine Army. Siyempre, dili na ta after the war, no? Kay successful man ang pag-reoccupy sa mga Sagaynons, no? Balik sa ilahang syudad, no, with the help of the Americans, Japan. No? It was the Americans who took over colonial power after the Spaniards, pero nag-help man pod sila during the Japanese occupation to help, no, the Filipinos reclaim the Philippines. Okay, so let us now proceed to the post-war period. The first election held right after the Second World War, made by Jose B. Puy Sr. and Amalio Cueva Sr., mayor and vice mayor, respectively. Shortly after, Mayor Jose B. Puy Sr. was appointed member of the Provincial Board of Negros Occidental. Thus, Vice Mayor Susie Amalio Cueva Sr. took over the municipal leadership, and through his initiative, the seat of government was transferred to its present site in Dalusan. So, actually, let us take note of these following names because later on, ang ilahang children, okay, marap sa kung dynasty, no? Ilang children took over several roles in Sagay. So, why was there a need, no, to transfer the seat of power to Dalusan? So, the transfer signaled the diminishing importance of sea travel and the takeover of overland transportation. And I think this was already established during the American period, wherein, okay, they have decided nga, instead of like sea travel, or instead of kanang ang sea na ang major nga transportation, no, ni Sagay, they move na dito sa land transportation. Okay? So, nagibalhin nila sa Dalusan, and then from Old Sagay, no, ang previous seat of power was in Old Sagay man. Okay? So, muna siya with transferring the seat of power to Dalusan. This means that ang importance sa sea travel diminish. So, wala na siya nag-take importance na for the municipality. So, I will call it municipality at this time, hakay. After pa man jud sa war, nahimog syudad si Sagay. And then, hinahina nag-transfer to overland transportation, which is a conveyor of progress and development. So, Old Sagay, the previous seat of government, is the old coastal center. So, may coastal near sa dagat. Okay? And then, na-transfer siya sa Dalusan, which is late highway occurrence. The transfer was made possible partly through land donations for the town site by Doña Rosario Cooper and the heirs of the late Clayton Nichols. So, schools, markets, commercial establishments were established in the new seat of power na. So, in the late 1950s, two Sagaynon politicians were in the forefront of the Negros politics. So, you have Jose B. Puy Sr., he was the congressman from 1953 to 1957, and Alfredo Marañon Sr. was the board member from 1956 to 1959. This meant that provincial and national aid were extended to Sagay, which is a positive thing, but that is why Alfredo G. Marañon, no, who is also our father of the Nescos, when he became provincial um, governor, no, it also provided opportunities for the development of Sagay. Syempre, taga dira nagug ka, no. For example, especially sa amuan, no, karon is our governor is from San Carlos City. So, ang mga developments or projects dali ra jud kaayo na siya matagaan og opportunities, no, matagaan og importance kay syempre unay na good, no, ang mayor is or ang governor rather is coming from our own city. So, same po na that's what happened also kay Sagay before. Okay, especially ang mga major forefront sa inyong sa Negros politics before, two of them were coming from Sagay. That's why there were a lot of provincial and national aid extended to the municipality. So there were several roads, school buildings were constructed, thousands of hectares of log-off area of the Insular Lumber Company were planted with coconut trees. So kaning mga hectares of land used to be dira na siya ang gitanom, no, ang mga different mahogany trees. So logged off area na siya kay wala naman dira pangko ng mga kahoy, no, kay di naman to siya mabalik. So, giilisa na siya og coconut trees and sugarcane. That's why major producers pod of copra at the same time sugarcane, no, ang Sagay. Okay? Sherman Hill near Barangay Bato was discovered to contain rich deposits of high silica. Okay, and even though na-transfer naman ang seat of power sa inland, no, wala naman near coastal waters, there are still, no, growing sea products, no, and flourishing na Japon ang aquaculture ni Sagay. Okay, kay nagboom man ang fishing industry near the coastal waters of Sagay. So the municipal population increased to more than 60,000 and also the revenue increased, knowing that Sagay relied heavily both on aquaculture and in agriculture. Kaya aquaculture, like mga fish, sea products, no? Agriculture, since wala naman taga-rely on lumber, we have copra, we have mais, no? May mais, sugarcane. So in 1963, Jose H. P. Jr. was elected mayor of Sagay. Okay? So, diba, familiar ang name, no? Iyahang father was the mayor during, right after the Second World War II. Then eventually, nahimo man siya og, or na-appoint siya as provincial board member sa Negros Occidental. So, ang young vice mayor na si Amalio Cueva Sr. ang nitook over. Later on, several years later, iyahang anak pod nga si Jose H. P. Jr. ang maoy ning follow sa footsteps sa iyang papa, which he also eventually became the mayor of Sagay. Okay? So, the income continued to rise, more schools were built, and more roads linking the barangays to the town capital were constructed. So, some of the areas in Sagay became accessible. The inefficient electrical system was updated. So, nindot na ang quality of living sa mga Sagaynons, so knowing that na mga firefighting equipment, modernized ng police units, electrical systems were improved, nga di mo na sige brown out. So it was during this time that Alfredo Marañon Sr., not Junior ha, Sr., began entertaining the idea of putting up another sugar mill in Sagay, which farmers can partly own. Okay? So, para niya, no, other than katong sa Lopez, diba, ang Lopez nga sugar company was one of the biggest sugar companies in Sagay before the World War II. So, napoy dream, no, si Alfredo Marañon Sr. to establish another sugar mill, okay? And this time, farmers, no, can also be included as co-owners. So he campaigned for support. But again, na ihang own friends mismo ang ning oppose, no, ani. Okay? So, medyo nasakitan si Alfredo Marañon Sr., no? Kay, syempre, he wanted to have a sugar mill nga makahelp pod sa mga farmers. Kay pila ra gud na ang income sa mga farmers, di ba? So, with this, no, gusto ta siya mo-establish na, pero wala man siya ginsuportahan sa iyang mga friends. Okay? So, nevertheless, his idea, even though daghang opposition, his idea became a reality in 1967, shortly after his death. So, during his time, wala man niya nakita na, pero even after nga namatay siya, at least siyang dream was made realize, okay? Was made into a reality. And that was through the Sagay Central, no? Sagay Central Incorporated. And that was made possible by the help of President Ferdinand E. Marcos Sr. niha, former President E. Marcos Sr. And then Philippine National Bank President Roberto S. Benedicto, who both shared his vision for Sagay. So, ang new sugar mill at Barangay Bato were opened, okay? And new areas were also opened and planted with sugarcane. So, kaning Sagay Central Incorporated, this actually helped a lot of small farmers because that means they can partly own the sugar mill. Let's now proceed to his son, no? Alfredo G. Marañon Jr. Okay? So then Mayor, Congressman, and Governor of Negros Occidental, Alfredo G. Marañon Jr. assumed the political leadership of Sagay in 1972. Under his administration, Sagay acquired a new town hall. So, iyarang gipadayon ang unsay natukod na sa mga previous political leaders in Sagay. So, gi-improve lang na niya, syempre, with the establishment of a new town hall, municipal gymnasium, livestock auction market, public markets for a number of barangays and municipal wharves in barangays Vito and Old Sagay. He also caused an organization of a water district in 1978. Okay? So, he effected the purchase of municipal subdivision for municipal employees. So, katong gatrabaho sa municipality can secure their own home, no, in a municipal subdivision. Okay, these achievements by themselves, because of the efforts of Alfredo G. Marañon Jr., helped make Sagay into a first-class C municipality. Okay, when you tag first-class C municipality, it is the highest in the entire province. Okay, the then Mayor Alfredo G. Marañon Jr. also secured, so actually nigawa siya sa quiz, no, wala na ko na mention, so sorry. So at this time, no, Mayor Alfredo G. Marañon also successfully negotiated a sponsorship contract with the German district of Osterholz. Okay, muni pinakadako niya nga achievement, yung Magnus Opus, no, not only ang NUNESCO's yung Magnus Opus or his greatest work, but also yung greatest achievement is sponsoring a contract, no. Si Osterholz in Germany provided several books sa then ISKOF, no, and also in NUNESCO's. So, not only nga na-establish niya si NUNESCO's, na-establish ng Old Sagay Barangay High School, then nahimo siyang ISKOF Sagay branch, and then eventually nahimo pud siyang NUNESCO's because of his efforts. He also secured sponsorship from Germany to have books, no, supplied to NUNESCO's at that time. Okay? How many slides are we na, no? It's already 7:30. Hapit na ta. Slide 26 na ta. Okay. We will just finish this one, so at least nag-activity na lang ta next meeting. So, let's now proceed to the conversion of a city. Okay? Nahimo nag syudad ang Sagay. So, it had been a long aspiration to get Sagay a city status. Okay? With the leadership of Mayor Joseph G. Marañon and Vice Mayor Fortunato S. Havelosa, This inspired the authorship of Congressman Alfredo G. Marañon. So, ang nag-author actually, so imagine, no? Nag-author pa si Alfredo G. Marañon Jr. nga mahimo ang ISCOF into Nunescos atong January 9, 1998. Siya pod ang nag-author into he authored a House Bill number 6543 converting Municipality of Sagay into a component city of Negros Occidental. So grabe kadako ang na-contribute ni Alfredo G. Marañon Jr. sa City of Sagay and not just in Nunescos itself. Okay? So when was this passed, no? It was during the 10th Congress. So passing through the legislation process, a public hearing was held in Sagay City in February 22, 1996. So mas nauna pa ang hearing, no? Nauna pa ang hearing and paghimo sa Sagay into a city kaysa sa Nunescos into Nunescos, no? Syempre, pero still, no, it was, ako na-amaze ko ni Alfredo Marañon Jr., no? Kay imagine 1996 tungod niya, no, nahimog syudad ang Sagay 1996. Dayon tungod pod niya ang ISCOF nahimo pod siya into Nunescos in 1998. So grabe jud kadako yung impact sa syudad sa Sagay. So the public hearing was held in Sagay City on February 22, 1996. On May 3, 1996, Senator Raul Roco sponsored the Senate Bill number 1191, the Senate version of the cityhood. On June 11, 1996, then President Fidel V. Ramos signed into law RA 8192. So remember that, ha? RA 8192. Muna siya ang law nga nag-change sa Municipality of Sagay into now the Charter of Sagay City. So on June 10, 1996, the residents voted and ratified RA 8192 and made Sagay officially Sagay City. Okay? Ano natin mga Charter Day, no? Charter Day is actually our celebration of our municipality turning into a city. So always remember, no, inyong Charter Day, June 11, 1996. Pila na katuig sa Sagay, 1996, manog 28 na siya, no, this year. As a city. Madili. Siyempre, nagdugay naman na nag-establish si Sagay. Maybe before pa dyan, no? Pero as a city na, almost 28 years. So, karon nga tuig. Karon 2024. Mag-28 na si Sagay City. And that ends my discussion for tonight. Nahuman dyan na to ang klase, no, sa entire history of Sagay. Do you have any questions, my dear students, before ta mag-take sa attendance? If none, we will take the attendance. Can you wait for a while? If you can click the raise hand button, just unmute your microphone and say present.